So this is an advanced lesson published by Mandolin.com. This is the part of the free lessons for June 2019. And I want to show you what is definitely one of my Desert Island disc tunes. And it's Bela Fleck's Big Country, which he wrote for Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. And which whoever plays this, whatever outfit Bela's played this in, it's just one of my all-time favourite tunes. And it's in the key of E. And in this lesson I'm going to teach it you in the key of E, but then I'm also going to teach it in the key of D and make it a bit harder as well once we've learnt it in D. So we'll start with the actual original key that he wrote it in, which is E. And it's not a difficult tune to play. What is difficult is kind of the timings. When I first heard this, I thought this was in 6/4, but after speaking to a few musicians and especially a percussionist who knows his stuff, it's actually in 2/4, but in kind of 6-bar phrases, which is why I heard it in 6/4. But this is in 2/4, and the difficulty comes with the rests in between the phrases. And this may sound blindingly obvious to some of you. Some of you watching this may be very adequate music readers, but for people like me who kind of grew up, learnt the mandolin with fiddle tunes, there's not a lot of rests in fiddle tunes. It's just kind of a barrage of notes for 2 A's and 2 B's, and you only ever have to count the odd beat here and there for a repeat. Whereas this has, substantial gaps in between the phrases. And I've heard this played back to me a couple of times by students, and they're playing the notes right, but they're not playing the rest notes right. And they're as important as the actual notes. So first of all, I just want to discuss how I count them. And for all of this lesson, we're going to be doing this tune slightly slow. They do it about 120 BPM. Hopefully you can hear that. At 105 we're going to do it. That's the speed we're doing it at. And those clicks there, they're clicking two per bar, which in 2/4. So 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then the end of the phrase, and between the end of the first phrase and the end of the start of the second phrase, is a bar's rest and half a beat's rest. So with the metronome clicking like that, I count that as 3 beats. So 1 2 3. The amount of times I've heard people play that and just not count that properly, they go, just start whenever they want. It's so important to get the counting right. So phrase 1 and phrase 2 of the tune end with a gap of, in my head, I count 3 beats. And then phrase 3 and 4, they have an extra 2 beats. They have 5 beats that you need to count. So the third phrase sounds like this. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5, and then you're back again. So there's some long rests in there. So really watch out for that. I'm going to leave the metronome so you can hear it when we're playing this, and I'll mouth. I'm not going to go 1 2 3. I want you to count yourself where the next phrase comes in. But so hopefully this will work. So I'm not going to go through the melody. I want you to do that in your own time, and you can play along with me. The B part especially is quite tricky. Again, this is an advanced lesson, so I'm assuming you kind of have a decent level of playing and just kind of learn the tune in your own time. I want you to focus on making sure that you are weighting the right amount of beats in the A part. Hopefully you can hear that. If not, it's going at that speed. This will be, we'll do this after 3. 1 2 3. Repeat. part again. So hopefully you were able to do that, and we're going to take it into the key of D. And the reason for this is, I mean, it's nice in E, but because we're in E, it's sort of restricted with how much we can do with it. And I quite like it in the key of D, and we can add a lot more notes to it. So first off, I'm just going to dive straight in. If you want any of the tabs for this, it's linked free below, or mandolin.com is your place to get all the tabs for anything I do. And we're just going to dive straight in. We're going to play the same melody again. I'm going to keep the metronome as it is, and we're going to do it in D. 1, 2, B. Pete. B part. That's a beautiful melody just on its own. I've kind of played it quite straight there. You kind of, once you've learnt the basic melody, you can take it where you want and add your own little spins to it. And that's what I'm going to show you now, what I would do with that tune. So there's 3 elements that I would like to add to that tune, especially the A part. I'm going to leave the B part as it is. That's not as kind of as complicated as I would ever play it. So we're going to focus on the A part. And the 3 things we're going to add is we're going to add some more notes. We're going to kind of double the shorten the length of the notes, so we can start adding some semiquavers in. We're going to add some hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slides because they always add interest. And then we're going to add some little drone notes in 2 different ways. There's the 3 options that we have. So the first one is adding more notes. And whenever you listen to Bela's version of this, at the start, he doesn't just go. He always puts in a little phrase. Like kind of that. And I'm putting a slide in there as well. So we're going to add a lot more notes that are half the length of the ones that have been in there. So we kind of speed everything up. And this is all focused on the first phrase. I'm just going to sort of analyse the first phrase, and then everything else is derived from that. So start the tune, instead of going, we can just go. So it's adding extra half a beat, but a lot more interest. And then some hammer-ons and pull-offs. So let's take bar 2, which originally sounds like this. Very simple. We can actually do a little hammer-on to that first note. So instead of just going, it now. So, yeah, and then slides as well. Slides make a big difference to that very first note. So instead of just going, you can go sliding with my second finger. And then drone notes as well. So there's 2 ways you can add drone notes. You can just add them on top of the note you're currently playing. So instead of just going for the first note, you can go and hit the A string as well, which is what I would call the easier one. So you're not actually sneaking any more notes in there, you're just kind of adding them on top of what you're already playing. And then there's the method of where if you've got a note that lasts a couple of beats, there's kind of spare space that you can fill. So, for example, in the second bar, da, da, da. There's a gap there where you could go. So with the spare space while you're waiting for the next note, you're adding in some of those drone notes. So instead of going, I'm actually taking bar 3, which is the same melody actually. You can put a little hammer on in and some drone notes. You can hear that hammer on first off, and then the spare notes. So instead of just going, we're going, which sounds way better. So sort of combining all of those techniques, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, more notes and drone notes, your first phrase could now sound like this. Which is just way more interesting. On the PDF worksheet, which hopefully you've already downloaded, linked below, I've done an example A part of what I would do with this tune and the A part. And without the metronome, I'm not going to worry about too much of that. I'm just going to play it to you nice and slow, so you can play along if you want, but hopefully to give you an idea of how you would make the melody sound on the mandolin to make it a bit more interesting. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, I'll just do that again for you a little quicker so you can hear it a bit more in context. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So hopefully you can hear all the things that are going on there, some drone notes, more notes, and some little ornamentations in terms of slides, hammer-ons and pull-offs. Try and play through that, pick whatever you like out about it, and then add your own little flavour. That's the whole point of this. It's just such a beautiful tune. You can do so much with it, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy playing the tune as much as I do, and we'll see you next month.